Hi, and welcome to your second week of Advent, flowing with me, Jenna. And our theme for this flow and for this week really is focusing on healing. The healing that Jesus brought to the earth, not only in his earthly ministry, but how we have access to this healing today. And we're going to start actually in a standing posture in the top of your mat. So if you want to join me, standing tall, finding rootedness in all four corners of your feet, sitting or standing tall. And we're going to start standing because the verse that I wanted to focus on today comes from Hebrews 4:16. So as we are learning about healing and resting in that truth, that he does bring healing to us, we can't be afraid to ask for it. In Hebrews 4:16 it says, "Then let us approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive and find grace to help us in our time of need." So whatever you're facing today, whatever healing means to you today, we're standing in confidence and approaching the throne with confidence to ask for that. So if on your next inhale your arms up, taking a deep breath in, exhaling your arms down, exhaling anything that's preventing you from receiving this healing, the healing works that the Lord has for you today in this practice. Inhaling your arms up, grasping your fingers, maybe leaving your pointer fingers stand up and pointing up as you lean over, exhaling, finding a half moon to the right side, stretching out that left side body. Inhaling back up to center and exhaling to the left side, stretching out that right side body, making sure your shoulders are stacked. You're not leaning forward or back. Inhaling back up. We're going to do that one more time. Exhaling to the right side, stretching out the left side body, but crunching in the right side as well. Becoming aware of both actions. Inhaling back up and exhaling to the left, pinching the left side to elongate the right, keeping those arms above your head, and coming back up to center, exhaling down, forward fold. Let your head hang heavy. Ragdoll pose here, keeping a little micro bend in your knee to protect your joints, letting your head just fall, feeling your spine become longer. And if you did the first week, we're going to do a little bit of repeats, but that is good to just get deeper into the stretch, to practice. So a few of the moves we're going to just be continuing on and adding on. And if not, you can go back and watch week 1 as we follow this Advent series. And on your next inhale, lift up halfway, straight back, exhale, fold over. Inhale up, halfway lift. And on your exhale, we're going to sink down into that chair pose. So your feet are hip width apart. Your knees aren't going farther over your toes, but just enough so you can see your toes wiggle if you look down. Tucking that pelvis under, engaging that core. Maybe pulsing here. Feeling your legs fire up in this chair. We're just getting right into it today. And fold over, exhale, forward fold. We're going to plant our hands down, stepping back into your plank pose. taking that chaturanga. If you need to lower your knees, that's great. If you need to come up into cobra or upward facing dog, on your inhale, then exhaling into downward facing dog, do what you need as we start flowing. With pedaling out your feet here, warming up your body, coming into plank pose, shifting your weight forward, and coming back into downward facing dog. Your left or your right leg is going to go high in the air, finding that three-legged dog. Bringing it into your chest, squeezing up those shoulder blades. In between your shoulder blades or pressing up, holding it strong before setting it down. Finding that crescent lunge. If you need to drop your knee, it's totally fine. Or maybe today you can rise it up. Come stronger in that lunge. And rotating that back heel back, becoming parallel with the back of your mat. Finding that warrior two, arms out long. Gaze is ahead of you. Bending into that right leg. Making sure you're pressing that knee to stay over your ankle. And inhaling your legs straight. Finding almost a pyramid pose. If you need to move that back leg up a little bit, go ahead. Point your hips towards the front of the room. And arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold over, stretching out that back glute muscle of the right leg. Exhaling over, just falling over with each exhale. Stretching that leg out. And coming back up, finding that warrior two. Reversing your warrior, left arm can go down your left leg. And windmilling your hands back, planting them down, stepping back and taking that chaturanga. Inhaling to upward facing dog or cobra. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Take a minute here to breathe before we switch to the other side. Your next inhale, bring your left leg high in the air, pointing that toe, bringing it up into your chest, pressing through those shoulder blades before setting that left foot down. Rising up into that crescent lunge. Dropping that knee if you need. Asking the Lord where you need healing today or this week. Could be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Bringing that right foot behind you down, finding that warrior two on the left side, sinking into this hip opener. Back foot is parallel. And straightening that left leg out now. If you need to move that right leg a little bit closer to the front as you square your hips to the front. Inhaling your arms up. And folding over, stretching out that left glute. Hamstring, keeping a micro bend in the knee so you're not straining that knee joint. Folding over a little bit more with each exhale. Great job. Coming back up into that warrior two, sinking down. And reversing your warrior, right arm coming down your right leg. And then as you windmill your arms, plant them down, step back. Either find that chaturanga, child's pose, Or just meet us in downward facing dog. Do what you need today. Remembering to breathe. We're going to do that again here. It's getting deeper into those stretches. So as you inhale, raise your right leg high in the air, pointing that toe. For bringing it into your chest and setting your foot down, not using momentum to get there. Rising up into that crescent lunge. Arms are strong and tall. And opening up into that warrior two. Tucking that pelvis under. Working towards getting that right knee over that right ankle. And straightening that leg, maybe moving the other one forward, pointing those hips towards the front. As you fold over, finding that stretch once again. Each exhale getting a little deeper. If you can even start resting your head or your forehead on your leg, if that feels comfortable, if you can get that far. You can also use blocks if you need to, if you can't bend over. You can prop yourself up on blocks with your hands. Works out really well. Still getting that stretch. And coming up, finding that warrior two once again. Inhaling forward before exhaling, reversing that warrior. And coming back up, windmilling your hands down, planting back, stepping back. Either taking that chaturanga or just meeting us back down into downward facing dog. And inhaling your left leg up high in the air. Stepping it forward, making sure you're not using momentum. Inhaling into that crescent lunge. Opening up into warrior two. Strong arms here, looking ahead. Inhaling forward before exhaling back, finding that reverse warrior. Oh, and we are going to go back, as I forgot, we're straightening our left knee. Sorry. Pointing our hips forward and bending over. It's getting a little ahead of myself. I'm already ready for the healing. Breathing into this stretch. Using blocks if you need to. Making sure you're not locking that knee. And inhaling up. Now we will find our reverse warrior. And windmilling our hands down. Stepping back. Finding that chaturanga flow. And meeting in that child's pose once you get there, taking your flow. Just remembering that healing, what Christ did to us. He restored us back to relationship with Him, with His coming. He has brought healing. He brought healing in His earthly ministry, but He also gave us healing through His Spirit. To have access to that. We have the Holy Spirit with us to keep us healthy, to keep us connected. What I found really cool too is Jesus is very empathetic because He experienced pain, rejection, sorrow. All the things that we experience here on earth, He experienced them, so He can be empathetic. And He has also performed miraculous healings, so we know that is accessible to us. He's provided a way for that healing. So we can come back up into that plank pose. Maybe pedaling it out here. Just doing a little bit of strengthening before ending this practice. If you want to come into this plank holding strong, if this is too hard, you can always lower to your knees. Give you some modifications here, but we're going to bring us into a side plank, bringing our right arm high into the air, either stacking our feet on top of one another. You can bring your right foot in front of you if that's too hard. Gives you a little bit more stability. Or if that is even too hard, you can lower your left knee down to the mat. Work on getting that posture right, elongating that right side of the body in this plank pose, but holding it here. Challenging ourselves a little bit, opening ourselves up, and bringing that hand down, finding a downward facing dog, recentering, coming back into that plank pose as we open up to the left side, bringing our left arm long, either bringing that left foot in front of us or even dropping that right knee down to the mat if you need an extra help. But opening up, finding strong side body support, holding it here, embracing the shake, and bringing that arm down, rotating back into downward facing dog, pedaling it out, meeting here. Just doing a little more stretching here. We're going to bring our right foot high in the air before stepping it forward, dropping that left knee down and walking that right foot out to the side of your mat just a little bit. Here, finding a lizard pose. If it's comfortable for you, you can just stay here. Or if you want to go further into that stretch, just bring your elbows down to the mat. Maybe rest your forehead on your hands if that's available. You can even start pressing your knee to the side just a little bit to continue that opening stretch of that hip area. Careful to keep your ankle flexed. And planting those hands down again. Coming up to bring your right foot high in the air, stretching it out before setting it down, finding that downward facing dog. Becoming centered, breathing here. So you rotate to the other side, bringing that left leg high in the air. And stepping it forward, dropping that right knee, walking our left hand out to the side of our mat at a slight angle, like at 10 o'clock. And if you did it on the other side, or if it's available to you, you can drop down to your elbows, rest your head down, or stay up on your hands. Maybe even taking a little bit of a bend in that left knee, opening up just a little bit more in those hips. Just finding uncomfort, not pain. And coming back up to our hands, bringing that left leg high in the air, three-legged dog before stepping down into that downward facing dog. Walking or hopping up into that forward fold. Bringing our left hand to the center in front of us and rotating, twisting to the right. Left knee bends out a little more. Remembering to breathe, replacing your left hand with your right as we open up to the other side. Right knee can come forward a bit, finding that twist. And bringing it down. Inhaling, halfway lift, and exhaling, forward fold. Can come down, finding your way on your back, hugging your knees in, rolling side to side a minute, finding any last movements before we come to our resting pose. Strengthened and confident in the healing that's going on. As you bring your legs long, your arms out to your side, flipping your palms up to receive. Closing your eyes if you're in a place that feels comfortable to do so. Just melting into the mat. Letting go. And letting God just swoop in His healing presence over you. Just going to read a verse from Psalms as we find this rest. In 147:3, he says it, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So just rest in His healing powers, His healing presence over your life. And if you'd like to stay in this restful position, I give you full permission to do what you need. But if you're ready, you can roll onto one side in that fetal position, taking a minute there before sitting up and getting on with your day. I just want to leave you with a theme for healing and the healing powers that we can find in meeting with the Lord. Just pray that you find that space this week. Thank you.